Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today we're taking a look at the Sutefoto. This is the TP45 RGB. This is a 2 kit. Now, Sutefoto did send this to me, but they're not paying me to say anything, and these are, of course, my own brutal and honest opinions, as always. Inside, you'll get the panel itself, one power brick, power cord, and tie. You'll also get this oddly textured light stand, and you'll get 2 of those. You'll get 2 carrying cases for the light and its power brick and power cord. And you'll get 2 softbox kits. And inside the softbox kit, you will get the softbox itself, a grid, and a piece of diffusion. Okay, so here we are with the controls. Now, as you can see, something is very missing, and that is a power indicator. So this will not tell you how much battery you have left. It just gives you the 14.4 volts. So that is a negative right off the bat. The second is this screen. As you can see, it's one of these where, again, like the Sakani tube lights and very much like their cob lights, this screen is not very good at all. It is very difficult to read. So with that said, let's go through the controls here. And first off, you have 100% all the way down to 0. And as you can see, this thing is not stepless at all. It is very, very flickery. It flicks to the next one. Then you have your CCT, and it goes all the way up to 10,000 Kelvin and all the way down to 2,800 Kelvin. Now, one thing you will note that when you are turning this, when you're turning it normal, it skips a little too much. So you will have to turn very carefully in order to get to where you want to go. So that is another downside. It's a little bit fidgety. You have your groups, and you have your channels and your groups here. I believe you have A through F and a whole bunch of channels. We're not going to go through them all. You have your CCT mode, of course. You have your HSI mode, which is a typical HSI mode. Just tap here to jump between the two, here and here, and this controls your brightness on this side. So there you go. Pressing the button again, you get control of your reds, your greens, your blues, and your colors and your whites. And then there are special effects, which are fire truck, ambulance, fire, fireworks, faulty bulb, TV, RGB circle, paparazzi, lightning, and police. Now you do get a barrel connector, so you can add a V-mount battery onto this with a barrel to D-tap cable. And again, this runs off 2 Sony NPF batteries. Now, you do need both batteries in order for this thing to run. So there you go. And one other thing to add, this does have Bluetooth in it. Now, I am not going to do the Bluetooth app. I decided that I'm not reviewing apps anymore. So, but this can be app controlled. Okay, so here we are with the light. Now this is about 5 feet away, and it does very, very well far away from your subject. I am rather impressed that it is lighting the subject very nicely, and we are at a 45-degree angle here. Now here is 5600 Kelvin, and this is 5600 Kelvin without any magenta shift. Now, as you can see, this feels like it skews a little green to me. So what I would definitely do is go to plus minus green, and I would take it to about 3. If you take it to 4, it just seems like it's a little bit, or 5, it's a little bit too magenta. So somewhere around 3 or 4. 4 seems to be a little bit too magenta. So I would definitely use it at plus minus green, plus 3. That is going to give you the best color. Now that we have that set, here is 100% at 5600 Kelvin, and we'll go down to, that's 100%, and we'll go down to 50%, which still looks great at 5 feet away. 10%. Here is 3200 Kelvin at 100%. Here it is at 50%, and 10%. Here is the fire effect, and as you can see, the fire effect is just super flickery. Here's the faulty bulb effect. Here is the faulty bulb effect. And that's pretty much it. It's just pretty flickery. Does not seem to do much. It is a little bit more, I guess, natural here is the TV effect. And we'll lower this. We'll take this down to about 50%, or take it down to about 40% there. And this is the TV effect at 40%. Maybe we'll bring up the frequency so it's a little faster. Okay, so here we are with the panel. Now let's take a look at the softbox. Now first, you get this very, 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 very nicely constructed yet super heavy softbox frame. Now, I will say that this is the best constructed thing in the whole kit, but basically it just Velcros together like so. And you just have these two straps here, and just throw them over here like so. There's a little bit of Velcro at the bottom here. And then you go around the back here, and I'll spin this around so you can see what I'm doing. And you just pull the Velcro, and there's some strap things here. And there you go. Very, very simple. Now, one thing I am noticing is that there is going to be a lot of light leakage with this. It just does not go over the frame. So you will be getting some a fairly good amount of light leakage out of this. But there you go. That is pretty much it. Then you have the diffuser, and that just pops in here. Not great. It's not the best one I've ever seen. And again, you're getting kind of bending, and you have to kind of really struggle with this, and you have to bring it up like this, and it barely fits inside. And that is one of the issues I have with this. Again, is that the diffusion is not great. There we go. We've got it in, sort of. So there you go. Again, you could have possibly, if you don't really do this very well, you could get light leakage within here as well. And let's go ahead and throw on the grid here. Now, one thing I do like is the way they designed this grid. And I'll go ahead and show you. They designed it with these almost like tabs. So you can kind of grab the ends here and kind of grab the top. It's just, the Velcro is just on this kind of like tab bit. So you kind of come around to the front and you kind of figure out where the center is, and then there, and then down, and then to the side there. So very, very easy. Then you can kind of sort of pull this and readjust as needed to get it exactly where you want. So it's fairly an easy grid to use, and that works very, very well. So there you go, that is the grid. Okay, so here's the grid at 40%, and it's about 4 feet away from me, and we're at 40%. And it is not bad. It is really controlling the light. And let me pull back the camera so you can see the control. So there is about your control. Now let's pull off the grid, but this is full diffusion. And we'll zoom in. And here we are again. That is 4 feet with the diffusion, and we're at 40%. And now we have the softbox on with no diffusion at 40%. And as you can see, we are just getting massive light spilling out of the back of this. It is just spilling out from every corner and every side, and it's very hard to actually get this to stay because it folds. It's very difficult to get it to stay right. So you're just gonna have some light leakage. You may wanna put some gaff tape over this or some black wrap. But yeah, this thing's gonna leak. Plus, you're getting lights out of the side of the vent as well. You're gonna get a little bit of that up out of the top and the sides. Okay, so where do I stand on this panel? And let's talk build quality. This thing is plastic, kids. Do not drop it. It will break. The buttons back here are okay, but when you're turning them, let's go ahead and put some batteries in. Again, I wish there were battery locks because I keep just knocking these out, which is bad. Really wish they would lock in. But when this is on, first off, you get this really terrible screen that you really can't see from any angle. They have this on the tube lights and on the cobs. I reviewed it right there. The buttons are fine. They work. These buttons are clicky. Now, the only problem is if you turn too fast, you can go like right by where you need to go. So even getting this exactly where you want is a little bit fidgety, and sometimes it skips past what you want. So not great at all there. And let's talk about The color science here, now as you saw at 5600 Kelvin, I had to make this +3 magenta in order to kind of combat the green, how green this is. You're gonna have to play around with that and play around with your camera settings. So not the most color accurate thing in the world. And I think that's pretty much it. The effects are just kind of meh, as they are on most of these things. And that's pretty much it. Don't drop this, kids, very plasticky. Now, from there, let's talk about the power cord here. It's very short, and you do get this little strap, I guess, to kind of sort of strap it to your light stand. I wish there was something a little bit better, but it should work, no problem. Now the elephant in the room, and that is this case. This is protecting absolutely nothing. This thing is so super thin. Keep the bubble wrap, kids. Because if this gets slammed down on the floor, this thing is going to break. This thing is thin. The zippers are very cheap and will probably be the first thing to go. The straps are just okay, but the padding inside is really kind of non-existent. So I would skip the case and get something else to put these in if you are going to be using them. Moving on, you do get a fairly decent, nylon bag to keep the diffusion stuff in. And you get what I think is the best made and heaviest part of this light, and that is the softbox. I dig the way that this works. It's just a little bit too, it's corrugated cardboard in here, corrugated plastic in here. So it does, when it's folded up, it does kind of get bent out of shape. So when you put this together, you really have to kind of force it into position. And I do like the fact that it has two straps. I wish it had some straps that went across the back this way, but it works. Now the diffusion is not great. As you saw, there was a lot of light leakage. It's really too small. I wish it were a little bit bigger, and I really wish it had like a lip so I can kind of do that and put it up. It diffuses nicely, but it's just a little too small for the softbox. And the grid, I really love the way that it goes in. It's just got a little bit of Velcro here, a little Velcro on the sides, and then another little Velcro here, and it just goes in super easy, and it really does shape the light very, very, very well. So the softbox, all in all, is not bad on this kit. Actually, probably the best thing about this kit is the softbox. Now let's talk the light stand that this kit comes with. It's got a very weird texture to it that makes a lot of noise. It feels pretty solid plastic. The knobs are just plastic knobs. It feels okay. If the head gets stripped, you can just unscrew it and replace it, and I actually like that. My only complaint about this is I really wish that the legs got a little flatter, because right now the legs kind of do this, and then when you push them down, it just gets steeper. I wish the legs kind of went a little flatter so I could sandbag this down, and also to give it a little bit more support, because this thing, when it's up and it has the panel on it, because it's not as flat, it's a bit wobbly. It's pretty wobbly. It's okay. Just not, again, my favorite thing, and this texture is super weird. Now, let's talk about the things I really love. Like I did say, the grid and the way the softbox is constructed and it goes on. That's great. Now, some things I really like, and let's talk about this mount. Now, this mount, whoops, did it break? Nope. This mount is kind of, I think, made of and again, the batteries fall off. Hate that. No locks. But the mount is a polycarbonate. Feels like it's a polycarbonate or like a stronger plastic. So it will not break, and it does feel very, 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 very solid. So very cool on that. This thing is pretty bright. From 5 feet away, I think it was 5 feet away, we were at 40 or 50%, and this thing was producing some very nice light. So if you have two of these, you can use these in an interview setup. You can use these pretty much further away from you. They don't have to be right here like a lot of small panels. So the brightness is pretty good. The special effects are meh, but special effects are usually meh on these panels. And the HSI is a little washed, but again, you do get a lot of controls to kind of change that up. I do like the fact that you do get a barrel connector, so you can get a barrel to detap and run a V-mount battery straight into this. That is always helpful. And this thing does not get very hot. I ran it for about 25 minutes and it was a little warm, but there's a lot of ventilation and no fan, which is great. So all in all, not too bad. So at the end of the day, can I recommend this kit? And that is a tough sell for me because you can go on Amazon or any distributor and you can get metal GVM panels for full kits for less money that are built better, have better light quality, and come with barn doors. And then you could just pick up a diffuse or a newer kind of pop-up diffusion box for it. At this price point, this is a little bit pricey for plastic. And it's unfortunate because there are some things I really do like. I think the mount's great. I think it does produce a lot of light, not the best light quality, but again, you do get some controls to fix that. And I do like the softbox and the grid and the diffusion. Again, you know how I feel about the diffusion. And you can run this thing off an app. But yeah, that's it. I'm gonna rate this a meh. I guess if you were in a YouTube studio or you needed something for your office and you just wanted something lightweight and cheap, maybe you're at your computer doing Zoom calls, you could set one of these up. That would probably do you. But for the price point that it is, I definitely think there are better panels out there on the market. But again, if you're in this Sutefoto ecosystem and you have some of their lights and you just want more of their lights, then this should match no problem. So that's it. Those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to mash that bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.